Digital marketing can feel overwhelming when everything seems focused on selling instead of genuinely helping people solve real problems. But what if the real power of digital marketing comes not from selling more, but from consistently serving better? At its core, leadership is the integration of how we think, act, and live across business, work, and life. And in the digital world, leadership shows up in our ability to adjust, innovate, and lead effectively in a rapidly changing environment. Welcome to Digital Marketing Secrets, folks. I'm Richard Fontanie, and today we will explore how to turn digital marketing into meaningful service. But before we continue, I invite you to subscribe so you never miss strategies that aim to simplify and strengthen your digital leadership journey. And thank you for doing so. Now, this topic about turning marketing into meaningful service matters because trust has become the most valuable currency in the digital marketplace. And it can't be rushed or forced. People no longer respond to aggressive sales tactics, but they do respond to authenticity, consistency, and genuine value. Now, here are 5 leadership strategies to help you engage your audience as part of a value creation effort. The first strategy is to thoroughly understand your audience, emphasizing their needs, challenges, and goals before producing any marketing content. When you know your audience, you can make your messaging clear, relevant, and helpful, rather than generic or disconnected from any real problems. Now, this involves asking questions, listening to feedback, and noticing patterns in how people interact with your content and your offers. One entrepreneur shifted from broad messaging to targeted content and then saw engagement rise because the message directly addressed audience needs. The second strategy is to produce value-driven content that educates, inspires, and addresses problems before requesting a sale. Now, value-first content gradually builds trust, positioning you as a dependable resource rather than just another voice vying for attention online. This includes blog posts, videos, emails, and social media content that offer practical insights and actionable steps your audience considers to be valuable. And this is why I have promoted e-learning tutorials and offered strategies for the digital marketplace. And over time, I have earned an audience that trusts and follows me. The third strategy is consistency, which ensures your message remains visible and reliable in a crowded digital environment where attention is quite limited. Consistency doesn't mean posting constantly, but maintaining a steady rhythm that your audience can rely on and engage regularly. And one of my pet peeves is getting multiple emails a day from the same person. Now, this clutters my inbox and wastes my time reading the content and then deleting them. Now, don't get me wrong, there are several people I follow, but I don't need to follow everyone that sends me an email. Now, here's something you can do instead. Post weekly content in a newsletter that supports your goals. I found that maintaining a weekly newsletter schedule builds momentum, which in turn increases both visibility and audience trust. The fourth strategy is authentic communication. Now, authentic communication emphasizes honesty, transparency, and a real connection with your audience at every interaction. People connect with people. You don't have to be perfect and get everything right in the first instance. Authenticity lets your audience see the real person behind the brand. Now, this includes sharing experiences, lessons learned, and even challenges, which builds relatability and trust that strengthen relationships. An at-home entrepreneur started sharing her journey openly, and this transparency greatly boosted engagement and connection with her audience. Notice the great influencers on video are wonderful in telling stories about their journey and how to apply their stories in real situations. The fifth strategy is building relationships rather than transactions. Now, this means focusing on long-term engagement instead of results and gains one achieves with short-term sales. Relationships grow through consistent effort, meaningful interactions, and sincere desires to help others succeed on their journey. Now, this approach shifts the focus from quick conversions to long-term connection, which ultimately results in more sustainable business growth over time. One business owner that I know focused on community building and discovered that loyal customers naturally supported and promoted his work to others. Now, these 5 strategies work together to create a digital marketing approach that is both effective and aligned with strong leadership principles. This shifts you from pressure-based tactics to a service-based model, or what I like to call a servant leadership model. A servant leadership model builds trust and long-term success over time. For an at-home entrepreneur, this method is especially effective because it enables you to grow your business in an authentic way. Now, you don't need a big budget or complicated systems to use these strategies. Just clarity, consistency, and a commitment to helping others. Now, here is a 5-point plan to do just that. 1, begin by pinpointing your audience and understanding their true needs. Then develop content that directly and clearly addresses those needs. Number 2, establish a simple content schedule that you can stick to consistently without becoming overwhelmed or losing focus on your priorities. Number 3, focus on 1 or 2 platforms where your audience is active rather than trying to be everywhere at once without any clear direction. Number 4, as you create content, focus on authenticity by sharing your voice and experiences in a way that gradually builds trust and genuine connection. And finally, number 5, engage with your audience by replying to comments, asking questions, and consistently creating opportunities for meaningful interaction and feedback. Over time, these actions build a community, and sometimes called a tribe, around your business where people feel valued, heard, and supported in their own journeys. And your community acts as the foundation for sustainable growth because trust builds loyalty, which in turn leads to consistent support and referrals. Consider the story of an entrepreneur who struggled with low engagement despite posting frequently across multiple platforms without a clear focus. After adopting a value-first approach and focusing on one platform, engagement increased and business growth steadily followed. This shows that success in digital marketing isn't about doing more, but about consistently doing the right things well. It also emphasizes the importance of strategic direction, making sure your efforts align with your goals and your audience needs. Digital leadership requires intentionally guiding how you communicate, serve, and build trust through every piece of content you produce. It's not about quick wins, but about building a foundation that supports long-term growth and meaningful results in your business. Now, if you're a beginner, it's common to feel unsure, but remember that every successful entrepreneur began with small, steady steps. So here's what you can do. Number one, focus on progress rather than perfection, and give yourself permission to learn and adapt as you build experience and confidence. Number two, create a simple action plan by selecting one strategy to focus on this week and sticking to it consistently and intentionally. And number three, review your progress, learn from the results, and gradually add to additional strategies as you gain momentum and clarity. Now, this step-by-step approach reduces overall stress and creates a clear path forward, making digital marketing more manageable and effective. Remember that your goal is not just to sell, but to serve, and service naturally leads to trust and long-term success. Because in digital marketing, leadership is what builds trust, and trust is what builds everything. Remember that sustainable excellence is built in rhythms and not marathons. Now, if this conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, like, and refer it to a friend. And thank you for doing so. I'm Richard Fontanie. Join me next week as we explore how to manage your priorities so you can schedule your content and campaigns effectively. And see you then, and bye for now.